Welcome to another episode. Wait, I gotta do that again. Welcome to another episode of Soul Filling, where you get your soul fed. I'm Tiffany.
I'm Jasmine.
And I'm Kobe.
And today we wanted to talk to you guys about getting out your own way. If you listened to last week's podcast, we talked about how to be honest with ourselves. And me, Kobe, and Jazz kind of were on the same wave of just like, I'm not exactly where I want to be, but I know I have the capability to get there. And so now that we're honest with ourselves with knowing, okay, we're not doing something right to be able to be where we want to be. So we want to see what are we doing that's getting in our own way. And that was our honest self. So if you haven't listened to that podcast, go ahead and go back to that episode. It's called Honesty Hour, where we just talk about, we give a series of questions that we ask ourselves so that we can be honest with ourselves, fully transparent with ourselves. And guys, I've been using these questions even on other things. I'm like being super honest with myself. With other things, I'm like, whoa, you know what? That too, that's what I'm avoiding. But I thought it would be great. I thought it would be great if we also, we want to have a remedy to our rhyme. And I don't know if that makes sense, but I heard that term, rhyme to the remedy. So, um, so I have a few points. I'm sure you guys have several points. So wherever you guys want to start off, like first off, maybe we should just explain what getting in your own way is. I just feel like everybody knows that, but do y'all think I should explain it?
Yeah, why not?
So when I say getting in your own way, I think a lot of times we think that there's other circumstances that are getting in our own ways for not letting us be able to fulfill what we want to fulfill, the destiny that God has for us. But in hindsight, a lot of times it's our own self, it's our own mentality, it's our own actions that are causing us not to be where we want to be, in quotation marks, because that is very relative to where we want to be and to where God wants us to be. So there's that. But we do have a lot of say in the co-creation of our lives. So we just want to make sure that we're giving the best advice that we can to help each other get out of our own way so we can live a fulfilled life.
Yes.
So
And I just wanted to piggyback off of that because a lot of times it makes me think of this saying that me and Jarvis say. And he typically says it on the basketball court, but I say it in life because it can apply to just about everything. And it is basically just control what you can control. And when we get in our own way, sometimes we thinking about we always sometimes we often place the blame on external sources like this person or because I'm not in this house yet, or because I haven't met the right person yet, or because I haven't got the best job yet, or because I haven't saved this amount of money yet. It's like we always are looking for those outside sources to place the blame as to why we haven't made it, or for some reason saying that we can't control just it could be as simple as the people around you and their attitudes around you, and you're saying, yeah, because everyone else is negative around me, that's the reason why I can't be positive, or that's the reason why I can't have a positive mindset or outlook on life to even believe that I can get there. But it's like we really have to control what we can control when we're thinking about what's really in our way. Like, although these variables may be true, although these circumstances may actually be occurring, but even in the midst of it all, like Marie Forley always says, everything is figure outable. So even though there may be these barriers and things that are in your way, I think that's what life is about, is figuring out how you can get them out your way so you can get to where you want to be. But yeah, so let's get out our way.
Agreed.
So who want to go first with 8 points?
Oh my God, I have so many. I don't even know where to start.
Me too. I bet we probably have some of the same points, and I can just piggyback, and we can piggyback off of
Okay,
those.
great.
That sounds good.
So sounds good to me. So my first one will be, okay, that wasn't my first one, but I was like that first one that I wrote down shouldn't be the first one, but my first one is a mental shift. And that's basically to stop living out of a place of fear.
Mm,
I've seen that for myself. Like we even talked about this in the last podcast. A lot of things we don't do based off of the fear of something. And I think that we have to pinpoint, okay, what am I really fearing right now that is stopping me, that is getting in my own way? Is it the fact that I'm scared I'm going to fail? Is it that I care too much about what other people think?
mm,
Do I not really want to do the work? Um, Whatever that fear may be, will people look at me like I'm stupid? Will I even be able to reach this? Whatever
mm,
that fear is, you know that saying people say, feel the fear and do it anyways. You could pinpoint that fear and see, okay, is this fear even true? Or you could pinpoint that fear and be like, okay, this is a fear, but I still have to do this. It's kind of like you guys know I used to like have anxiety attacks driving, and it was very weird. Like and to the point where I couldn't get to my destination. And so one time me and the girls we were going to go see our friend Robert Harper. He had this amazing show called Live on Purpose, and I was on my way there, and then an anxiety attack like sprung upon me. I'm like crying, and guys, when I say I tried to go there so many times, I went different ways. If you saw the circle I was going in, I attempted 3 times to go, and then I just broke down. I'm like, I have to go home. And so what I'm saying is sometimes our fears can stop us from getting to our destination where we want to, but we have to figure out what it is that's causing that fear so we can get there. And so yeah, fear is like, feel the fear and do it anyways, because you'll be stuck going in a circle trying to figure out another way until you face that fear. So that's
So my
one
question,
way.
that's good. My question to you is, what fear did you feel as you were, trying to get there? What was the fear that was stopping you?
That I was gonna die.
Mm,
that I was gonna
under-
that I was gonna die. that
mm,
um that I was gonna that I didn't have any control. That
control.
that I have this weird, and you want to know what's really weird? I don't know if I even told y'all this, but I probably have. The fear came from was triggered when we were at Toby's concert,
I
um,
remember I was next to you.
right next to me, and there was this girl, and she just passed out
Yeah,
because it was so crowded. She
yeah, it
just
was
passed,
hot.
and I was like so worried for her. I'm sorry, I'm crying, but it just really made me scared because I'm like, whoa, she had no control over her.
Mm.
I'm like, what the fuck? I'm like, bro, like niggas just passing out. And like I never saw that. And her body went so limp, and she had no control. And people were there. They like picked her up immediately, put her bodyguard, brung her, got her water. She came back. But that really, I remember, and I went like, oh my gosh. And I remember I was like, ooh, I need to get some air. Like, I don't want that to be me, but that stuck with me. And I was just thinking to myself, shit, I could like fucking fall out at any moment. And so when I was in circumstances where I was uncomfortable, like on a bridge in an unfamiliar place where I didn't feel safe or comfortable, I felt like, ooh, this will be a very bad moment for me not to have control. And I would hate to fall out here. Like, that's so weird.
That's good because a lot of people's fears are triggered by what happens to other people. Like we could see somebody fall out. We can see somebody go bankrupt. We can see somebody get a divorce. We can see somebody get negative things that happen to them. And then we can project that fear onto ourselves, like, oh my gosh, I don't want this to happen to me. Or, oh my, and it can really create real anxiety because it's a real life situation that has happened. So it's like, okay, if this can happen to them, what's stopping that same thing from happening to me? What's stopping that, same disappointment, that same failure, that same, life-changing moment, like something with your health, like in those fears. And this is why it's so good that this is like an aha moment for me and myself as well that you shared. So I just like to say thank you for sharing that, because it's like we have to. And there's this saying in the Bible, and I'm not saying that, the girl is bad or anything that happened to, but it's saying like, bad things are going to happen in the world. And in the Bible, it says 10,000 will fall at your left side and 100 will fall at your right side, but it shall not come onto you. Something like that. And I probably misquoted it, but the premise is there. And so it's like we live in a world where not the poverty is happening all around us, violence is happening all around us. We just can't. We would be remiss if we didn't acknowledge the negative that is really truly people are dying from the pandemic. Things are actually happening, but as not to say that we should live through that fear, live in a sense of where we let that consume us to the point, because whatever we put out, so we become to live in that fear mantra, create that fear mantra and thinking, oh my gosh, this is going to happen to me. Oh my gosh. It's like, what do we get? We get what we think about most of the time. Now, I'm not saying, science is not real. And if you put in certain situations, if you think like you can think all the positive in the world, but if you, put yourself in bad situations, of course, you're going to get these results. But I'm saying not to let it consume us so much to the point where we projecting it so much on ourselves till we can't even, I don't know, we can't even flow in life and live that happy life, that abundant life, because we're constantly thinking about what can go wrong because we saw our friend, this happened to her, or this happened to such and such on the news, or did you see such and such just. So it's just like we have to really, and it's going to take some practice. I'm so it's nothing that happens overnight. And I just know that once we see that fear, that inkling come about, whether it's an outside source, that we have to literally step outside of ourselves, see the situation for what it is, and find a way to turn that narrative, turn that mindset. And it's funny that you said what was your first one? Mind shift, or shifting your perspective?
I was just saying, let me pull it up and pull it
Mental
up.
shift, you're saying.
Mental shift. Yeah, so you have to shift your mental mind. My first one I wrote was mindset shift. And that's funny, it's this similar thing. So you really have to, and sometimes it's deeper than it feels deeper. Let's say that it feels deeper than just, oh, let me switch my mind to something positive. It may not be just as simple as that the first time, or the second time, or the third, fourth, fifth, sixth time. But it's like, it's a muscle that we're training in our brain to keep it on until that thought no longer haunts you. That thought no longer stops you from living your life. Because it's like you can worry about the good and you can also think about the positive. So why not focus on the positive, and in hopes that the positive is going to manifest in your life, opposed to in hopes that the not so good is going to manifest into our lives.
No, that's so good. I needed to hear that because I was like, damn, that was a good question that you asked. But it is true. And, we talk about that a lot, like projecting what happens to others onto us.
Mm-hmm.
And that's so true. Like and it's like this is like a twofold with that, because y'all know I talked about this too. Like I'm really keen to like what I hear. I'm like, I don't want to hear it. Like sometimes I don't want to hear it when it's bad, because I know that I do really put it inside of me. Like I don't want to say that, but like I really like internalize it. That's what I'm saying. And sometimes I'm like, ooh, when I hear things, I'm like, ooh, I really like think like, oh shit, that could happen to me. Like
Mm.
And so, or it makes me feel bad and I don't want to hear it. So I feel like there's almost like, it's just, I feel like it's rooted and then it's rooted again in something else. Cause I don't want to be able to not hear the truth. And I also don't want to project what others have gone through on me. And then also want to know why her falling out triggered me so bad. You know, it didn't trigger y'all. You know,
Right.
y'all with
It
me.
didn't even
But,
probably really even trigger her. She was back in the concert
she
turning
was
up.
mad. She was not worried about a thing, but that was like a really weird thing for me.
Yeah, that's true.
So,
And you know, I used to, well, no, what were you gonna say, Kobe?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay. I used to be very similar to that, like to the point where I was so empathic. And I won't say I will,
that's the right word.
yeah, oh, empathic. But I would say it was just to the point where, you know, I was saying I didn't want to hear anything negative because I was really, really, I didn't know how to disconnect your story from my reality. I felt like I had to be in the pain, the hurt. I needed to feel what you was feeling. I don't know why I was like that. But it wasn't until just, and I don't know, honestly, I can't really pinpoint what it was that really, really like helped me overcome that. I think it was more so just as I grow, the wiser I became as I matured. I just seen like, okay, I can't avoid the news. And I'm not talking about the actual physical news that comes on TV, but the news, whether it's social media news, however you get your outlet of news, right? Because, you know, things are actually happening in the world. And I do want to be informed on what's happening in the world. Some current events I just would like to know now. But I remember at one point in time, I was like, if it's if it's negative, it got somebody dying, it got this, that, and the third. I ain't trying to be involved. And like, even right now, I'm still like, I'm protective. Like, I can't just sit there all day and press my mind with, you know, the negative news that's going on. But I will give myself a certain time limit. But it used to be not even that. I'm like, I don't want to hear not even 1 second of it. Like, if it ain't positive, don't even put it in my life. But now I'm like, okay, this is a current event. It's like I'm stepping outside of the situation. I'm seeing, okay, this is happening in the world. Okay, so now how can I go and move about? So not even so much so that it doesn't happen to me, but I just want to be informed so that, I don't know, it's just, I don't want to be oblivious to things. I'm looking at it from, I guess, more of a informative, more so emotional, where it's like, this can happen to me. Now, sometimes I do find myself, and that's why you just have to know yourself, so you can know, like, okay, this is a little too much. And I have my gauge. Everybody's gauge is different. I know some people, they record the news, they have to see it. My grandma, my dad, I'm there, and they like watching the news all day, and you know, they'll get their break and go watch their shows and come right back. I know some people that just the channel news, do not leave. You don't turn that news off. Like, if you touch my news, but it's like, you just have to know everybody's very different. But you just, I think personally, is whenever you do get to that point to where you can see it, it's like you take the power away from it. It doesn't have such a hold on you to the point where you're in fear of the news, if that makes sense. But move at your own pace. Move at your own pace. That's what I will say.
Yeah, everything y'all are saying is definitely resonating with me. Last week I talked about, my thing about being honest with myself was I was stuck. And the reason I was stuck is because I wasn't elevating myself and furthering my education. And it was rooted in fear. But my first point is lack of confidence. So when I dug a little bit deeper, it was like, okay, I have this fear of failure because I've seen other people, including myself, who've gotten degrees and couldn't get jobs in their field. You know, we work in, these minimum wage jobs, or, doing something totally different from what, the career path that we wanted. And so that kept replaying in my mind of, damn, I don't want to, do this and still be in the same space. But I saw something by the author James Clear. He is the author of Atomic Habits. I haven't read it. It's on my list of things to read, but I do follow him. And he has these weekly newsletters. And this week he was talking about lack of confidence. And basically he said it kills more dreams than lack of ability. Talent matters, especially at elite levels, but people talk themselves out of giving their best effort long before talent becomes the limiting factor. So basically, we are capable more than we know. But we trick ourselves, we talk ourselves out of even giving ourselves an opportunity because of lack of confidence. We don't even give ourselves a chance to, let our talents kick in, or to let our, fight or flight, whatever, to learn, to grow, to get to where it is we need to be, because we cut ourselves off because of the lack of confidence. So yeah, that's my first point, is just, and we have so many episodes talking about, like, confidence and how to build that. And I know it's something that I have it in other areas, and then it's just, it's weak in some areas, it's strong in some areas. And so I just have to really, build myself up in that area of education, to where I'm like, okay, you can succeed, and then you will succeed, on, in your field, in your career. So yes.
I love that. That was a great point, because confidence is everything. Like, when you're confident in something, you walk different, you talk different, you like have an authority less over your life, if that makes sense. And so like, even me, like when I'm walking and I see like a really cute guy, my confidence goes away. Like, I'm like, oh, wait a minute, I don't know. Like, but
Yeah.
and that's probably very unattractive. But like when I'm walking, I know I'm fine, and I'm just like do 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 and strutting my stuff. It's like, okay, I'm different. I'm attracted. When I don't care, I'm like just living and being myself. That's when it's just like, whether that's I'm in sweats, whether I look good or not, it's like when I have the confidence in myself, it attracts more people. But what I'm saying in that is because the confidence raises your vibration, which means that you're on a frequency of excellence. And that's why that confidence is needed, so it can attract what you want, whether that's a job, whether that's a guy, whether that's an opportunity, because you're on the same frequency of that opportunity. But when you don't have confidence in that certain area, or whatever that area may be, you're getting off a low frequency, which is attracting low frequency opportunities. And so I think that's just like an amazing point, is because we forget, oh, the way we think about ourselves as something is the way that we're putting our energy out. And that may be why, like, that may be how we're getting in our own way. So I don't even remember what podcast we did on confidence, but we might need to do another one, because I forgot.
Yes. And like with that, it's confidence within myself, and then even confidence within God, because sometimes I forget that, like, at any moment, he can shift it from you waiting on it to you walking into it. And it's just like, I have to constantly remember that. I'm like, okay, I can do this, and God can do this. He can shift this. He can open doors. He can change anything in a moment. So I just have, that's something we have to walk in, and we have to remember daily.
Okay, say that.
And I just love how you brought up the vibrations, Tiff, because that is essentially confidence. It's like, if you're not even, so let's say your goal is to be a CEO. Let's just say a CEO, I don't know. If you're not confidently walking, thinking, having that perception of yourself as that thing right now, you're repelling that away from you. You have to be confident in it. It's crazy. You have to be confident in a thing before you even get to that thing. You have to believe and know and feel like you. I'm sure Beyonce was walking, and then she was, because she was with Destiny Child singing no, 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 you know, probably in her mind already thinking that she was gonna be Beyonce. Same with anything we do, though. We have to walk into that thing, because it's either gonna propelling it to push you from to another destination, to whatever you are walking in confidence of. And so some of us, we can confidently, you know, walk into the position we have, and we can say it, throw our shoulders back, held high, and say, this is what I do. But if it's your actual dream, can you confidently, firmly say, this is what I do, and have that confidence behind it to know that, you know, this is the thing that's going to sustain your life? Or, you know, and it's sometimes it's hard, because if you're not around other people, and even if you are around other people, that goes to that thing, believing in other people more than you believe in yourself. Like, yeah, they can get there, but, you know, when it comes to having that same confidence in you, saying that I can get there too, it's just like, our confidence kind of, and I'm talking to myself right now, it kind of sink a little bit, like, can I really be doing that and walk away from this job and really live the life of my dreams, and really, you know, not have to worry about a thing, but doing that 24/7? It's like, I want that, but is my confidence matching that thing? That's where we really have to ask ourselves. And if it's not matching that thing, starting small, because I think we want to make these big quantum leaps and into waking up tomorrow and already having it, but it really be the smallest things, y'all. The smallest things that can really shift our vibrations. Me and Jarvis always say, man, we're not gonna let this thing drop our vibration. We're not gonna let that thing, get into our head, because if we do, it's gonna push us further and keep us stuck in the same place we are right now. And if I'm being honest, sometimes it does get to us. Sometimes it takes a week for us to, like, you know, shake it off really, or maybe even longer than that sometimes. But it's just about, you know, really, really put in a gauge, just like you have a gas meter. We gotta have like a confidence meter, like seeing like, okay, how confident am I on F or am I on E? And if I am close to E, finding a ways you can get filled back up, doing things, being around people that fills you up.
I love that so much. I love that so much too, because a confidence meter. I love that. But it made me think of, like, in our last podcast, I talked about how I care about what other people think of me. And I recently was like, so I just got offered a full-time job and I took it. And but one of the things, thank you. One of the things is that one of the benefits is that we have unlimited vacation. So before I was offered the full-time job, before I was offered the full-time job, she was asking, like, does anybody want to take a vacation? And I'm like, nah, like, because I was part-time, I get paid by the hour. And I'm like, no, I'm good. I'll just take the regular, whatever days y'all be having off. That's the ones, because I need to pay my bills. But then got offered this full-time job, and they said we have unlimited vacation. You just gotta have it signed off. And I said, cool. Now I'm like, Deborah asked me to go to Mexico, and I'm like, hi. And so, but in my head, I'm like, oh dang, like I already told her that I don't want to take any vacation. And now I'm like, and I haven't even told her I need vacation again. But I was like, now I'm scared to ask for what I really want. And I really find myself in that predicament a lot, like when it comes to money, when it comes to a huge is money, because I really don't like discussing money when it comes to pitching myself or pitching Soul Filling Podcast, or even reaching out to guests. That's why, like, that's a weakness of mine. And that's why I really love that Kobe's able to to be a strength in Soul Filling Podcast, to where she's like, oh, who you want to reach out to? Okay, I reached out to them. Oh, okay, what we need to do? Okay, I've done that. Because though I can write it up or whatever, the actual acts for me is very hard, because I always feel like a burden or something else. And so now I have to tell myself, what, shut up, like this is so stupid, like this is so dumb, like just ask for your vacation days. That's what they're here for. Why don't you deserve to be on vacation? It's unlimited. You haven't took a vacation this entire year. Obviously, like a lot of us. And so it's just like getting out my own head of like asking for what you truly want, and knowing that you deserve it, and that you're human, and that you're okay, like you're okay, and who cares? So I just feel like what I'm trying to say is like, we big up something so small, and that's getting in our own way, our own elaborate, long, thoughtful process of what this person's gonna think. Are they gonna think that I'm trying to take advantage of vacation days now? Or it's, you know, I'm like out of my mind sometimes. And when I want to say is, it's not that big of a deal a lot of times. And one other thing is, it's your life. So you are going to have to create the life that you want. Okay, so if you want more rest, or if you want to have more experiences, you have to be able to go ahead and ask for those things, because this is your life. It's your life, and it's your life. You want money, you got to ask for money. You want a raise, you have to ask for a raise. You want to write a book, you got to write a book. It's your life. And we have to get out of our own way of, I'm telling myself this, I have to get out of my own way of, like I said in the other podcast, like of caring what other people think. Because it's my life. Because rather what they think got nothing to do with me, okay? They ain't got nothing to do with me. I have everything to do with me.
Talk about it.
So I'm mad.
No, you know what? When you were talking, it made me think about the walk that we when we just went on the walk in Herman Park the other day. When we were talking about I forget, you were saying someone that's from somewhere, and I think somewhere in Europe, how they were telling you that here in America we live to work instead of working to live. Or did I say it backwards? Work to live, live to work.
That. Basically.
Yeah, like basically we get so caught up in the grind, hustle, and bustle. Like I gotta have it all, to the point where we forget to actually live our life. The whole reason why you hustling and bustling is to have these vacations, is to live your best life, to go buy that beautiful mural if you want it, like to really indulge in the pleasures of life. Of course, with balance. I'm not saying go splurge and be reckless and forget about tomorrow, but still don't work so much and forget about tomorrow. I know somebody that has worked for like over 40 something years plus, and has never taken a vacation outside of Houston, and born and raised in Houston. And it's just like, got all the money in the bank, could buy millions of vacation, got all the vacation days saved up in the world. Like if they just took a year off, like now they could like literally still be paid the whole year, but not their focus. But then I guess, you know, everything fulfills. I'm not saying that's right or wrong. I'm just saying some people get fulfilled by these things, and some people, you know, are just forcing, they become like autopilot mode. And to the point where you're not even thinking about anything other than your routine of things. It's like sometimes we get caught so much in these routines that it kind of constricts you. Like it makes you feel like you have to go a certain way and do a certain thing, or if you do deviate off the course just a little bit, people are gonna, it's like, so at your job, it's like people already are expecting, or you feel like, in our minds we feel like they're expecting, they probably don't even have this expectation on us, so we feel like they're expecting us to be here this day and that day, and they're expecting us to like be reliable and this, that, and the third. But like you were saying, people don't really be caring as much as we think they be caring. I think the thing about it is we be caring and we project our care that we have for ourselves on other people and thinking that they are seeing the little small details that are probably going over their head. Because think about it, I'm like, I don't even be thinking that hard when I see other people, but I think they be thinking that hard when they see me. Like, why? I mean, I know I'm important and all, but I'm sure it's not even crossing their mind. So the point I'm trying to make is we have to live our life and not be in fear. And I'm talking to myself as well, because this is something really small and mundane, but it's just like that asking piece, and not asking to the point to where you get numb to the answer. If it's yes, oh well. If it's no, oh well. Like, it's you can always ask, and whether the results are what you want them to be, you can always ask someone else. You can always ask another day. You can always ask at a later time. It's like we tie this personal attachment on whatever their answer is, their yes or their no is, and make it seem like it's the end of the world, or it's the best day in the world. It just is what it is. And I feel like once we get out of that space of feeling like, oh my gosh, what are they going to say? Is it going to be what I want to hear? Or is it going to be something I don't want to hear? I mean, and we got to understand it's a part of life. If it's something we want to hear, oh well. If it's something that we don't, I feel like repeating myself, oh well again, though. It's just really, we got to lower that expectation down, because that expectation will choke us up from even asking in the first place. So get through it.
And another thing about asking is understanding. Like, we ask in a relationship, like, where are we going? What's the vision? Because we need an understanding so we can know how to navigate our lives. But a lot of times we assume so much, and well, I don't say we, but I assume so much that I don't even go for the ask, because I don't want to. I feel like the ask is a burden, but actually an ask is clarification. Like, when I asked for a promotion, or when I asked for a raise and I didn't get one, I now was able to navigate and say, I got my answer. Now I quit and I am moving on. Because the ask could clarify some things for you. Whether it's like, I can stay here. I'm gonna wait a little. I'm going this way. And so the ask is a direction. And whether you wanted the promotion or the raise or the relationship, the ask is gonna the ask and the answer is gonna get you to where you need to be. Ask and get out your own way.
I love it. Jazz, some things you were saying would definitely hitting me in the soul. You're talking about expectations and following rules and deviating from that. And the next thing that I want to share is a post that I saw from Adriana Moses on Instagram. And she said, all the rules are fake. Do you create your own internal algorithm? Watch your external world shift. Follow the beat of your own drum. Don't work backwards, move forward. Stumble, skip, all the things. Get it done in your way. Find a way. And, that would really struck me, and it was really important to me to, mention this to our listeners, because a lot of people have been talking about this algorithm. And, if you're a social media person and you're, on social, you care about those things, that's really important for you. And so people are freaking out, this new algorithm. Oh my gosh, listen, people aren't following, people aren't liking the picture, people aren't seeing my post, and they're freaking out. And it's just, that reminder is just, I don't know, it's so small, but it's so important that, we get so caught up on these rules and expectations and, oh, I got to look this way, I got to do this, I got to follow this, I got to, this strict idea of what we think we have to do to get to where we need to be. And it's like, just do you. People are going to navigate to that. People are going to find that. People are going to see it. We don't necessarily have to stick to these confine ourselves to these rules in order to be, who we want to be.
And I'm so glad you brought that up because y'all know I'm a social media specialist by day. And you know what's funny is, you know how people, when they realize like you're a social media specialist, they're like, oh, it's the best time to post. Da, 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 da. But what I learned is the algorithm, just like life, is constructed based off of you, your audience, your content. So what you post for somebody else audience is going to be different. Their best time to post is going to be different from somebody else's best time to post. So everyone's trying to follow this algorithm, this one streamlined algorithm, these rules, but the rules are different for everyone based off of your content. What type of content? Is it inspirational content? Do people want inspiration in the morning? Where is your audience? But what is always going to win is you being authentic to who you are. Authenticity brings the people. It brings awareness. So what I'm trying to say is there is no best time to post. It's best off of everyone else's. Like I've looked up time and time again, and I realized, wait a minute. The only way to figure out what the best time to post is to try multiple different times. I just figured this out because I was like, wait a minute. I found the time. and it took months. It took months. But anyways, it just goes back to saying like there are really no rules. Being authentic is that because everyone algorithm is really different.
Yeah,
it really is.
Ooh, you just spoke the whole word. That's so true because, and it just made me go back to think what Kobe was saying. So, and both of y'all, so how everyone's like, don't look for the correct time, dance to the own beat of your drum. Imagine if Barack Obama was trying to gain the same fan base as NBA YoungBoy. It just wouldn't work. But I wouldn't want NBA YoungBoy to try to do what Obama doing because he would lose all his fans. Like everyone is good in their own zone of excellence, their own zone of genius. If we talk about the big leap, and so taking your big leap is gonna look different for everybody. Like we don't want Megan Thee Stallion over here giving us Oprah lessons. It's just not what we want. We want to be able to, we go for a different vibe. And so it's like, it could be looked at like, oh, that's wrong what you're doing, this, that, and the third, or this is the right way to do things. But everyone's right way is tailored to who they are, their own beautiful individual uniqueness, and that no one can do you like you can do you. And we say this all the time, but your way is for you, and it's up to us to discover that way and operate through whatever that great gift is.
It's so true, and that's what is getting in our way. If we're thinking about like how we're getting out of our own way, we think oh, come on y'all, like we think, and there's different ways. Okay, we think that we have to do it a certain way, and there is a benefit of your way could be doing somebody else's way or following along or being mentored, whatever, stuff like that. But at the end of the day, you have to figure it out for yourself, whether that is a part of your algorithm or your system. And so, but people just have to know it's different. It's just different. And that's so beautiful. I love that. But yeah, thank you for saying that.
Yes, I just feel like, just as fear can get in the way, imitation can get in the way. And, part of, the rules thing and finding the algorithm, I feel like is kind of one and the same with the imitation. Like, yes, there are certain things that you're going to have to do. You have to post daily. There are certain rules that you're going to have to follow, but you don't have to be, imitate people to the point where you're not, like you said, being authentic to yourself.
Absolutely. And one of my other points, and I guess, and this is just popping up, I would say pray different. Um, and this gonna be like two of my points tied together. Is like visualize, and we talk about this all the time. Visualize and write down how you really want your life to be. Um, you have to see it. When I got this apartment, y'all know that for like the last 9 months, I had the screensaver of this apartment here that said rent free, because I was like, I'm gonna have this rent before I come in. Like, go full year's rent, that's gonna be saved up. It's saved up, and so that's good. That's all I'm gonna say. But you have to see it. You have to see it and you have to write it down. Because what I also wrote down, and y'all know this, is my 2020 goals that I forgot about, that says I'm going to live in an apartment by Herman Park this year. It happened. So many things happened. And so write it down and visualize it, and so you can see it. I want you to see it every day. I want you, look, I'm planning on, I have another idea in my mind. I'm planning on framing it in my living room so it can happen. You know what I mean? And so visualize what you want, write it down, and actually think to yourself, what do you really want, so you could attract it, so you know how to navigate towards it. I always highly recommend y'all listen to our podcast, Working Backwards, because you have to see it first. You have to see it in your mind first, so you could go get it, so you know that it's attainable, so you could claim it, so you could pray for it. And this is another thing. One of my points was pray different. When I realized these last few months, I've been working like super, 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 super hard. Like, like I've been saying in a lot of podcasts, like really hard, very long, 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 long hours. And I don't like it. I didn't like it at all. And because it's just too much. It's too much. I don't feel like I'm living life like that. And so I'm like, okay, God, I'm gonna pray different. I pray for all these opportunities. I pray that money comes to me easily, frequently, in all types of ways. And I'm gonna keep praying that prayer, but I'm also praying that the opportunities that I have are easy. That money is easy. It comes to me easy. I'm not going to have to grind so hard to get this money, because that's not the life I want to live. I want a life of flow and easiness. And that might sound crazy to people like, Tiff, you're going to have to grind, you're going to have to grind. But the grind is different based off of your fulfillment. You could grind really hard on something you're really, really, really passionate about. But if you really ain't passionate about something, the grind is draining and suffocating, if that makes sense. So a lot of times the grind is easier when you're in a space that you really, really want to be in, if that makes sense. Oh, I feel like I'm talking too much. But and so I've been asking God, look, I want the money to keep flowing. Don't stop that. But I'm going to need to know that it's easily coming to me, that I don't have to work from 7 to 10 p.m. every day. I don't want that.
Girl, me, I don't want you to do that either. Like, I want you deserve your rest. But I love that you mentioned that and brought that up, how you want money. And most times we all say, I want this X amount, I want to be a billionaire, but we don't put how we want to get it. Not saying like I want to do it by doing such and this, that thing. But I mean, you can be specific, but doing it in a, like, getting out of our way to dare ourselves to believe that it is possible to obtain large quantities of money easily. Millions of people are out there doing it right now. Okay, maybe not millions, maybe thousands of people are out there doing it, because millions of people don't believe it's possible. There's only a small group of people that think it's possible. It's not the fact that they're wiser or they're more intelligent or they have all the degrees in the world. It's not that. It's not that at all. It's the fact that they believe. That belief is so key, y'all. That belief, they believe in their heart of hearts. They probably imagine, like, even get out our way to imagine certain things. Sometimes it's so hard for us to visualize that dream home, that and see yourself pulling up to the driveway in your dream home with your dream family, with like the things you truly want. It's like, I love how you said pray different, because we have to pray in such a way to where we take our own personal limitations off of it. Because sometimes we pray thinking like, we think logical with our prayers, like, oh, this, we be praying for stuff that can actually happen. Oh, I pray, I'm gonna pray that I pay all my bills on time. You've been paying your bills on time for the past 6 months, so why are you still praying that prayer? Now, if you wasn't and you were swimming in debt, then that might need to be your prayer. But then once you get there, you got to pray a little different now. Okay, now you paying your bills on time. I want to pray that I got, like Tiffany just said, the whole rent for the year, 365 free. Like it's there. It's already saved up. It's already put away. It's already paid up. Like I'm good. I ain't got to worry about that expense. But like really like stretching ourselves to really, really step outside and like, because I'm talking to myself as well, because I was thinking like, I need to get out my way on some things like that are really, it's not even the fact that I think that they can't come true. I'm not spending enough visualization and mental capacity and thinking about it on a day-to-day basis. You can't just say, oh, this is my dream on Sunday because it's the Lord's Day and it's Self-Care Sunday and you want to resonate and on, all that day. You got to be thinking about it on Monday, Tuesday. What happened to the other 6 days of the week? So we really, and not even for the week, what about that whole 30 days in the month? Or what about that whole 365 in the year? Like imagine sometimes we put it out a little 10 days in the month or a little 30 days in the year and be like, when New Year's come, be like, I ain't reached my New Year's resolution yet, and be mad like this don't work. But we really, really, I love how you say you're gonna put it in your living room to where you have to see it every day. It ain't no choice. Like, is this thing gonna come true or not? Because your brain is operating to the point whenever you see something on a day-to-day basis, especially like a vision board or something something that you really want to bring into your reality, and you put it into your vibration, into your space, put it somewhere where you see it, feel it, spend time with that vision. 10, 5 minutes, 1 minute, 1 minute a day is better than 0 minutes a week. That 1 minute a day will add up to 7 minutes, and hopefully we'll just keep growing from there. But just getting out your way to the point where you don't even allow yourself to visualize. You don't even allow yourself to dream. You too busy caught up in the day-to-day life to even take a second back to be like, now where do I really want to be? Where am I going? What do I really truly want? What would fulfill my heart? What would make my soul, make me feel like I did something on this earth? Like giving yourself that time, get out your way. It's like, how do we expect to get to the life that we truly want if we can't even think about it? Like we can't even put it in our thought vibration right now of what we want. So get into it, get into seeing your life on a day-to-day base, the way you want it to be, with the things you want to have, with the amount of money you want, with the living situation you want, with the family you want, with the purpose, the job, all these things. Not if it's a job, if it ain't a job, whatever, with the freedom. If you do got a job that give you unlimited vacations, like what? Like, having it don't have to be. And even if you find yourself getting somewhere and you don't like it, we're not trees, y'all. We can change it again. We can revisualize something else again. So yeah, let's just go hard. Let's go hard. I'm ready. 2020, here we are.
Right. And with that, the last thing that I want to say, just to add on to what you were just saying, to help me think about like, okay, what is getting in my way? I had to also ask myself, what am I reinforcing every day? What am I reinforcing each day? And so I want you to ask yourselves that, soulmates, and, just really think about that. Reinforcement is to strengthen by additional assistance, to strengthen or increase something, to stimulate with reinforcement, to encourage. So it's just like, what am I reinforcing in my life? And it's just that simple. What am I reinforcing? Fear? Am I reinforcing lack of confidence? Am I reinforcing, health, wealth, prosperity? what are you reinforcing?
Right. Or you reinforcing, I'm sick and tired, I'm overwhelmed, I'm stressed out. Like, what are we reinforcing? What are we reinforcing? Because I know I was reinforcing a little bit. I'm overwhelmed, I'm stressed, it's too much to do. Like, but then we get reinforce that, it enables us from even allowing us to reinforce the things that you were just saying, Kobe. Ooh.
That's so good. And I'm sorry that they over here blowing leaves. It's okay. If y'all can hear that background noise. Okay, good. I'm glad y'all can. I'm over here mad at them for no reason. But with reinforcing, one of the points that I put down is to prioritize your destiny, because we can get caught up in the rat race. You know, we live in such a capitalistic society, like the grind. And that's why, you know, when I heard that line from that TV show, it's like, are you living to work or are you working to live? Are you living? Like, to be, I want to live. Like, if I could work 4 hours a day and then go chill with my friends, go traveling, like, I'll be good. I'll be Gucci, do a soul podcast here or there. I'm like, I'm good. So, like, when she says reinforcing, like, what you want in your life, prioritize those things, you know, because you have to prioritize your health. If you want to be healthy, drink your water, eat your fruits and veggies or whatever. If you want to be more financially stable, prioritize learning how to do that, and then taking that action following behind that to, you know, save and invest and put stuff aside automatically. So whatever you really want in your life, prioritize that. And I realized within myself, I haven't been prioritizing the things that I really truly love, because I've been clouded with so many other projects. And you know, I'm a big proponent of abundance, but I also want an abundance of freedom. So prioritize your destiny, what God really wants for you, and reinforce it, like Kobe says, because that's the only way it's going to come into manifestation. And so, like, but with that, you have to, which is another point, is to make space for something new. So if I ain't never quit my job, I would have never got this other full-time job that's remote and that has offered me more money and unlimited vacation. You know, don't take advantage of it. And also, it's a really good job that has a very strong foundation and also impacts others in an amazing way. So I'm grateful and I'm learning from it. But if I would have stayed there, you have to let some things go to create space for your destiny. This job may allow me to spend more time now to spend on Soul Filling podcasts, you know? So that's it. That's what I'm just saying. Think to yourself, ask yourself, what do I need to make a room for? And what can I let go? Because we can't keep everything. And I know for me, I have been living out of as much as I have an abundance mindset, I also have a lack mindset, to think that I need so many things so that I could continue thriving. So many clients. Now I'm like, fuck it. You know what I mean? Like, I'm just like, because that's not my destiny. I want to prioritize what's really for me, not my zone of excellence, but my zone of genius. And so yeah, that's it. So be okay with letting go, because sometimes you could let go of something that's good, but it doesn't mean that it's good for you anymore. It could still be good, but not good for you. You could still have a good man, but they might be the one for you to help you be propelled into your purpose and live a life of a purpose. Anyways.
That's good. That's good. Whew. Okay, that leads me to, actually don't lead me. This is just another one of my points. I was trying to find one that kind of tied in, but I think we already covered all those. Um, but one thing it did talk about, and I got this from an article that is called The 7 Ways to Get Out of Your Own Way and Get Things Done by Mariana Lennox. And one thing that she did talk about was forget your failures. Like, forget them. Not in the sense of not trying to take the lessons that they taught you, but don't so much hone in on your failures to the point you won't even allow yourself to try something new, to do something new, because you like, I remember this time I wasn't so good at that, so I'm gonna play it safe. I'm gonna stay over here because this is where I know, I'm comfortable. Sometimes, guys, we gotta fail a couple hundred times, a couple thousand times. Like, I tell my students this analogy all the time in class. I say, do y'all know who Thomas Edison was? And they were like, no. Someone be like, yes. I'm like, he was the guy that invented the light bulb. I always have to put the air quotes because y'all know he stole his stuff from Tesla. But anyway, that's beside the point. But he invented the light bulb, right? And they said that he failed 1,000 times until he actually was able to construct a light bulb that made electricity. So the point I'm trying to make, guys, each time, I don't think he even saw them as a failure. He was just like, oh, this one step closer to actually getting it to work. Oh, I learned something here, so I probably need to connect this wire and that and then this. So every time you fail, just look at it as a gauging tool of, maybe I pressed too hard. Maybe I need to go a little softer. Maybe I need to go harder in this area. Maybe I need to learn. It makes me think about basketball. And I know when I used to play basketball, I used to overthink. Every time I would make one mistake, miss one shot, get one turnover, I'm like, my whole mood is down for the next 2, 3, 4 plays. And it was like, if I just realized that we still had a whole 30 something minutes to play, like that little error that happened in that 32 seconds it didn't lose us the whole entire game. So just realizing, like, guys, just because you make one little tiny mistake this month on this particular day, it's not going to fail you for your whole life that you have to live. You still have, and by God's grace, an abundant days that's coming before you. So it's just like, don't rely on your failures. Don't let your failures kick you out the game. Don't let your failures kick you out the race. Like, allow your failures to teach you something, learn the lesson so that it can help you escape this rat race, not, stay stuck inside of it. But yes, so forget the failures.
Yeah, that's a good one. Cause we all gonna fail. Like, that's part of life. That's part of life. And what I think is beautiful though is like, we never stop learning in life, like ever, like ever. So there's always, that's really cool. It's good for Soul Filling Podcast because we always talk about something, but we're constantly learning. And that's why I love the quote, and we say it a lot. Is like, we know nothing at all. We really don't know nothing. So we really just like have to live. And I think it's so beautiful because we keep evolving and we keep learning, but we can't learn if we are avoiding the lesson, So it's like, we can't learn. So we have to learn from failure. Like, even I'm happy that I was able to, and sometimes you have to fail to know what you want. You have to have a failed relationship to know that that's not what I want in a relationship. I want this. Sometimes you have to fail in school to know, like, I don't like this major. I like this major. Or maybe I don't need to go to school. Maybe I need to go ahead and start my business here. Or, I do think people should go to school, but it don't work for everybody.
Maybe you need to fail to know that, you need to stop skipping class or stop partying all night.
Exactly. Okay. Right. I'm glad that's a good one right there. And so that's a better example. And so, yeah, so sometimes you have to fail to know, like, I had to be overwhelmed to know that, wait a minute, this ain't the life that I want to live. But I would have never known that had I not gone through it. There's a lot of things that you wouldn't have known had you not gone through it. So yes, I am thankful for the failures, which are just lessons, but you have to learn the lesson. You can't, if you want to level up, if you want to go to the next grade, if you want to graduate. But anyways, I love that. I have two more things that I just think are very important. And I had so many points, it's crazy, it's scary. But we talk about this a lot, and I know Jasmine talks about this a lot, but also it's talk about systems to get out your own way. Yes, to get out your own way, you have to create systems. And this is also my problem, because I'm very like, oh yes, it all comes to me organically, blah, 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 blah. But you miss stuff because you feel different every day. And so so if we're talking about social media, and I really need to work on this, like, it's easier for you just to plan out your content ahead of time and have a scheduling system so they could post automatically for you. So whether you feel good or bad, it's posting and your impact is being made. Your message is still being heard. So, but when you're posting just willy-nilly, which I think is also could be great, but you can also add on to that. So what I'm saying is, like, when you're posting willy-nilly, you post based off of how you are feeling at that moment. Like last night, I posted on my personal feed, but it was just like, it could have been done. So if you just put stuff in systems, whether that is, whatever it is, it's not gonna be social media, but systems, like whether it's a newsletter that goes out every day or every week, whether it's a post that goes out every day, or whether you hire someone to do something to make it easier and automatic, like putting your bills on automatic, taking your savings into automatic, putting things on automatic so you don't have room in your brain to put effort into what actually matters. There's a lot of many things that just don't really matter, but systemize your life as much as you can is what I'm saying, especially on the things that are just like very minuscule, because when you put stuff on auto, it's just easier because you don't have to think about it, but you can still focus on the impact. And if you don't put it on automatic, you can lessen your impact because you're no longer consistent, if that makes sense. People are now not getting the information that they need to get or whatever. So automate your life is what I'm saying.
Girl, and you just made me think about something. Systems make things automatic. So, girl, that little sentence right there just changed my whole life. Like, I'm like, dang. Because when you was talking, you was like, automated is gonna make it just automatically that. Because when you post, instead of based on our like how we feel, I'm recapping, but I'm going somewhere. Because if we operated on how we feel, and on them days when you don't feel like doing stuff, and some days it'd be more, sometimes it might be 2, 3, 4 days in a row. But if it's automatic, and it reminds me of this book called The Latte Factor. I recommend it. It's a short read. Listen to it on Audible. That's what I did. Like, it's so palatable to where even a 12-year-old can read it, all the way up to a 112-year-old can read it. Like, it helped get my finances right. But in the book, he talks about how to make, and this is one thing that changed my financial journey. He said, when you are trying to make your savings, trying to start a savings, create a savings, make it automatic. Put it on auto save. I love how Chase has the little auto save. Just about any app has auto save on there now, like where you can just manually and it don't have to be a large amount. It don't have to be 5 million posts. It don't have to be you starting, these drastic quantum jumps. Like, when you make things automatic, the small things will eventually grow into this large snowball until it's out of control. But you have to start somewhere. And the reason why he said make it automatic when talking about finances, because he says, who takes your money automatically? And I was like, somebody taking my money automatically? I'm the only one taking my money automatically. But it's the government through taxes. it used to be, I think at one point in time, I'm not denying this part could be a little wrong, but I think in the book he said that it used to be at one point in time where the taxes, they didn't come out of people's check automatically. They would ask people to pay their taxes, but they realized that was, some people would pay it, some people wouldn't pay it. Like, and then this was average working taxes. So, every paycheck, when you get, if you work a job and you get a paycheck, you can see before anything else comes out, before your health care, Medicare, well, all these other, these taxes or income, they're being taken off your check off the rip, and then they giving you your check. And if you want to do anything outside of that, then it comes off as well. But he was saying, do the same thing the government do to you for yourself. Make it automatic. And so that way you don't even see it, you don't even feel it, you don't even know it's gone after a while. And just same with your taxes, you don't even see it. You some of us don't even know, myself included, don't know the exact dollar amount that is being taken off my taxes. But the thing is that it's automatically being done, because when it's a system, oh, this is so deep. It's just automatic. It's automatic. And imagine if you're doing something 365 automatically. Girl, this is a game changer right here.
And what it does for you, for those who are indecisive, like me, you don't have to think. You don't have to think about, you don't have to make a decision. Okay, how much I'm gonna put here today? How much I'm gonna put there today? Or what I'm gonna post today? Like, it's automatic. So you don't have to you don't have to go between yourself, maybe over here and maybe over there. When it's automatic, it's just automatic. And I love that you said that it's like simple things. And that's like I want to say my last point, because I know we over time, is to get out your own way is you don't have to do everything at one time. Like, take one step at a time. Because sometimes we might not have the capacity right now to do all the things, but do one thing that you can do every day. And that's enough. And that one thing may open doors to more things that you want to do. But if you're just not doing anything, or if you're doing a bunch of things that aren't consistent, then you're really not getting anywhere. So just pick one thing to prioritize, one thing to focus on. Just, it's okay. Give yourself a pat on the back for doing that one thing every single day. That's going to help you get out your own way and get to your dreams. So that's it.
I love that. All right, guys. So since we going overtime today already. What time is it, y'all? It's affirmation time. It's affirmation time. It's affirmation time. Y'all, if this is your first time tuning in on the Soul Filling Podcast, we always end our podcast with a positive affirmation. So what the heck is an affirmation? An affirmation is a statement that you are using to transform your life. It is whether you're transforming your life for the good or you're transforming your life for the bad by saying things like, I'm sick and tired, I'm down and out, or I'm, living my best life. In the Bible, it states, let the weak say, keyword, you got to say this out loud. It says, let the weak say, I am strong. So guys, speak uplifting things over your life. I am affirming that it's 3 of us, and I'm affirming that there are millions, billions, trillions of y'all out there tuned in. And we're going to go ahead and end this thing out with our positive affirmation. So who wants to go first?
Oh. There you go. I am living a life of freedom, financial freedom. And I was going to do a whole bunch of other freedoms, but I couldn't think of any other words. I am living a life of freedom. Just know that money come with that too, though. Okay. All right.
I am fulfilling my divine destiny right now by staying out of the way.
I am getting out of my own way. I love and approve myself.
Jasmine Charles, can you, girl, I'll put your whole government name out there. Can you say your affirmation again? It was breaking up on my end.
Oh, okay. What did I say? I am living my most divine life, and I am getting out of my own way and allowing God to lead the way.
Awesome. Thank you guys so much for joining us on this soul filling, whatever day it is you listening to it. Make sure you go ahead and subscribe and leave a comment if it resonated with you guys. Share on your social media so more people could get this good word and so they could get out their own way. But if you are listening to us on Apple Podcasts, please stop by and give us a 5-star rating and write something soulful and sweet so we know what you're thinking. And it will also help us get higher and higher in the rankings so that more people could hear about Soul Filling Podcast. We thank you so much for this. We love you so, 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 so much. And guys, it's time to get out your own way.
It's time. Until next time, soulmates. Mwah, we love y'all. Bye. Oh. Ooh. What time is it? Ooh.